Thank you for the opportunity to be here today to discuss GAO's work examining Coast Guard law enforcement efforts. These efforts, including drug and migrant interdiction and prevention of illegal fishing, are vital to confronting illicit maritime activities. My testimony today will not be a surprise to anyone on this committee. GAO's work has identified persistent challenges Coast Guard faces related to vessel and aircraft availability, acquisitions, and staffing shortfalls that hinder the service's ability to meet its growing mission demands. We've made dozens of recommendations to the Coast Guard to help address these issues. Addressing our open recommendations pertaining to the Coast Guard's assets and workforce would help ensure that the service is efficiently using its resources to carry out its law enforcement missions. In 2025, the Coast Guard received nearly $25 billion for various acquisitions and in support of efforts to modernize operation and capabilities. This additional funding could help the Coast Guard address longstanding challenges that we've identified. Related to vessel and aircraft availability, the condition of the Coast Guard assets has been in a state of decline for decades. Our work has shown a concerning trend that the cost of maintaining these assets is increasing at the same time that their availability is decreasing. For example, in June, we reported that the availability of the cutters that the Coast Guard relies on for its law enforcement missions declined. We also reported that increasing maintenance challenges have led to cutters missing patrol obligations. We made 5 recommendations in that report to help address cutter challenges. These readiness challenges are not limited to its cutters. In April 2024, we reported that the Coast Guard's aircraft generally did not meet its availability target. Coast Guard officials attributed this to maintenance and repair challenges. We made 5 recommendations, including that the Coast Guard assess the type and number of helicopters needed to meet its mission demands. Our work has also noted that acquisition program delays have been a long-standing challenge for the service and continue to affect the availability of Coast Guard assets. For example, the Coast Guard's newest cutters, the Offshore Patrol Cutter and the Polar Security Cutter, are intended to support law enforcement missions like drug interdiction and prevention of illegal fishing. But we found that combined, these 2 programs are billions of dollars over their initial cost estimates and years behind schedule. We've made dozens of recommendations on how Coast Guard can better manage acquisition programs for new vessels and aircraft. The final challenge I'd like to highlight is Coast Guard staffing shortfall and poor workforce planning. In recent years, the Coast Guard has raised concerns that its mission workload has outpaced its workforce levels. Staffing gaps, particularly in specialized units like tactical law enforcement teams, can hinder drug interdiction and other law enforcement missions. While the service recruited more enlisted service members than it lost in 2024, that had not been the case in prior years. In April 2025, we reported that even with the increase in recruiting, the service remained short of its enlisted workforce target. As a result, Coast Guard was operating below the workforce level it deemed necessary to meet its operational demands at that time. We made 3 recommendations to help address these challenges, including that the Coast Guard develop a clear plan to support its retention initiatives. In conclusion, while the Coast Guard plays a vital role in confronting and mitigating illicit maritime activities, it faces significant challenges in carrying out these missions. Addressing our recommendations in these areas will help ensure that Coast Guard is effectively and efficiently using resources to carry out these critical missions and protect our maritime borders. This completes my prepared statement, and I'm pleased to respond to any questions you may have.